Hello everyone and welcome to the new thing that we started at Fit2sport as podcasts, video podcasts rather. It's going to be a series of informal discussion between experts from different fields, some athletes, their coaches, some motivational, some inspirational stuff, some entertaining stuff as well. It could be educative stuff for a lot of physios and professionals across working across different disciplines. So it's going to be a mix of a lot of things over the next 1 year, and we're going to start basically interacting with these experts, which will some of them are in-house experts at Fit2sport, and obviously some who have been associated with Fit2sport for quite a while. It could be some celebrity guests as well. At some point of time, we want to introduce them as well. So it's going to be overall a very good in the sense value to what we're going to add from Fit2sport. So welcome everyone to this series of podcasts, and today we start off with Kettlebell, and who else a better person than Siddharth Sarpotdar, who is an expert in kettlebell, not only lifting but training as well. So he is internationally acclaimed. Also has recently won a medal all over the kettlebell lifts that happened in Hyderabad, the national level. So basically, not only competitive wise but training wise, we've been training a lot of athletes using kettlebell. And today we want to discuss about how important kettlebell training is for not only for athletes but the general population, and using as a fitness tool as well, and how scientifically, when used correctly, it becomes a great tool. So Siddharth, welcome, and we've been working with a lot of athletes, and kettlebell is some tool. With your expertise, we've been really fortunate to get their performance elevated to a different level. So for our viewers, I want to introduce them to this tool, plus give some brief history, and so that we can start discussing about what kettlebell is.
Thank you, sir, for inviting me first. Hello, friends. So basically, this the tool which is in front of you is known as the kettlebell. So you must have seen this in a lot of gyms as well. Now, kettlebell, basically the origin of kettlebell is a bit of it's not disputed as such, but there are varying versions for that. So, but generally we take that it originated in the erstwhile Soviet Union, Russia. Now this history dates back a long way, because originally it was started as a weighing weight for harvesting crops. Then the shape was also square and all. We even had strongmen in the early 20th century who used to use kettlebells big, like Eugene Sandberg or the strongmen. But the tool which we see now has now developed quite a few years back. Now this is basically used as an endurance tool in gyms. So basically it's an endurance-based tool. So you improve endurance, that's the muscular endurance, the cardiovascular endurance by using it.
Yeah, so basically this is kind of a different introduction to kettlebell. A lot of people are under the impression that they see this tool lying in the gyms and fitness areas and things like that, and they start using it as a dumbbell. I'm sorry to say that, but there are some people who don't know the proper use of kettlebell. And as you rightly pointed out, that this is a good endurance-based tool in fitness, and we have been, as I said, using it as an endurance tool for a lot of athletes who are national and international athletes as well. So now, before we go on to talking about the competitive part, how do you kind of what messages do you want to give to our viewers by how do you use it scientifically and correctly to not only enhance your performances but keep yourself fit?
Right. So, as you rightly said, there are two aspects to kettlebell lifting. One is known as the Girevoi sport. Girevoi sport, it's a Russian name. So it's basically competitive sport lifting. There are many world associations, there are world championships happening all over the place. Nowadays, a lot of online championships are happening. So that's a different aspect altogether, whereby there are lifts which you need to master to lift that for a minimum of 10 minutes. It ranges from 10 minutes minimum 15 to 30 minutes, with either one bell or two bells. Now regarding the kettlebell used as a fitness tool, yes. So any person can use a kettlebell, nothing wrong about that. There are varying weights in kettlebell. So generally we start with a lighter weight. It is primarily used to increase your endurance. It is also primarily used to increase the collective working of the body. So kettlebell is not used as an isolated tool. So unfortunately, as Sir rightly said, in many gyms you will see people doing bicep curls with kettlebells. It is not supposed to be done. A bicep curl can be done with a barbell or a dumbbell. This has been much better with a dumbbell. So basically, we use this tool to increase the endurance. And also there are various aspects like there's a bit technical, kinetic chain activation and integrating the body as a whole, training the core, training the entire body as one unit, being one with the weight. Also, it increases the explosive element in the body. So explosive element for a prolonged period of time. Basically, because we are not using max weights, we are using sub-max weights.
Correct. So as it is, we don't want to go into the technical aspect of it. And, we are trying to just understand and help you understand a little more about the importance of kettlebell. Now, one thing you have got to remember, viewers, is you have to use it correctly. So I remember we had a couple of athletes coming to us with injuries. And when we grilled them, we had a history that they gave a history of using kettlebell, and then their pain started. One was with shoulder pain, the other one with the back pain. Right. So I do know that that could be because of wrong techniques. Right. So what are your kind of thoughts on people who are maybe in the gym or any facility where they use it without having a proper technique or scientific way of doing it?
Right. Like any exercise for that matter, whatever you do, you need to have the right form and technique to do that. You need to have the proper training to do that. Now the thing with kettlebell is it is an offset weight. So you understand the weight is in the center. So it is centrally located weight. There is a particular handle to it. So this handle and the weight is given for a particular purpose. So there are many basic exercises like swings. Now people do a lot of swings in the gym, which is the right exercise to do with kettlebell. But again, doing the swing in a not a very optimal way also results in much of a back pain and all which happens.
Correct.
So it's simple. So we need to actually learn how to swing again. The swing is the most basic movement again. But even in a swing, if you are swinging it only with the shoulders, then it is bound to be less optimal and it can give you some sort of injury.
Exactly.
So you need to use the entire back muscle, the entire core, and then the hand is just an extension. So people what they do is they start doing this, where you need to actually swing back, the arm needs to be attached to the torso and then you swing. So this all needs to be taught.
So basically there are two things which I want to kind of help you understand. One is, people do use it in a wrong way. So our advice, rather, we've been working professionally for a while now, our advice to all our viewers will be that you have to make sure that the one who's teaching you or the one who is actually using it needs to be scientifically or technically trained to use the kettlebell, because this is not like a dumbbell where you can see a YouTube video and start using it, because this is very common. Dumbbell is a very common fitness tool, but kettlebell is only commonly seen, but it is not commonly used because a lot of people use it the wrong way, or they use it by using wrong techniques. So, and I've seen it. Basically, we see a lot of people who are using it wrong. So what I want to highlight about this issue is, and correct me if I am wrong, that technically somebody needs to train, the trainers needs to have a proper training, right? And then they can kind of not only use it for themselves, but they can also use it for their clients.
See, what happens, sir, is there are two aspects happening. Now, some person may do the right kind of exercise. So, a swing is a perfect exercise for the kettlebell, but then it may be performed not very well. Or, majority of them, they end up doing the exercise which they are not supposed to do with kettlebells. So, I will do a dumbbell curl. Yes, I can use a dumbbell for a biceps curl, but I can't use a kettlebell. Can't use because it's not optimal. The weight itself is not distributed in such a way that it will challenge. I mean, even if it will challenge, it will not be optimal for the joint.
Right.
So like doing a lateral raise, the dumbbell is on the cable machine. It's the right way to do the lateral raise. Very popular exercise. So either they do the right exercise in not a very good way, or they end up doing the exercise which they are not supposed to. So there are two aspects in that.
Correct.
So you may do the right exercise, but you may not have the right form and technique.
Correct.
And you may totally do exercise which you are not supposed to do. So every tool has a use. You should use particularly for that purpose.
So kind of just ending up with this curtailed topic right now before we move on to the competitive lifting. This one obviously very important aspect you need to remember, that using a kettlebell has to be, as he rightly pointed out, can be used by anybody, but there's a format. Use with less weight to start off with. Correct technique is more important. don't jump to using heavy kettlebells without having a correct form, and then obviously you land up with injuries, and which we don't want you to. Okay, so it's a very important tool for all fitness enthusiasts and athletes to enhance their performances. Now let us focus on, before we kind of end this particular podcast, I want you to talk about the competitive aspect of kettlebell. What happens when you competed, rather your experiences, plus competitions that happen nationally and internationally. If you can just brief, so there are people who are interested in doing that as well, so you can just throw some light on it.
Yes. Competitively, kettlebell lifting now, in the days of COVID, there are many competitions happening, but there are online competitions. And these online competitions are held by various world associations. But today itself, I'm going to compete in the India Open IKM, there is the International Kettlebell Marathon Federation lift. There is a 30-minute continuous lift. We recently competed in the English Kettlebell Association Pentathlon, that's 5 event championships. So there are various online championships happening, but conventionally in normal times, you always have a proper open championship. Now there may be various associations holding that. So worldwide there are many associations like IKML, IUKL, and IKSF. So they are all headed by Russians and Europeans. They are world champions. So there are many world champions who are heading these associations. They are their own world championships. So basically in open championships, when it's an open championship, it's a 10-minute lift.
Okay.
So within you have to lift the kettlebell for 10 continuous minutes. You are not allowed to keep the kettlebell down. Now there are 3 competitive lifts in kettlebell. Now we can't obviously show it now, but one is the snatch, the single hand snatch, the double hand jerk, and the double hand long cycle. That is a clean and a jerk.
Okay.
So all these events have to be performed for minimum of 10 minutes. So that's a 10 minutes time separated limit. For females, it is generally 1 bell. Of course, there are females who lift 2 bells and there are world champions also. But generally, you lift 1 bell. For males, it is always there's an amateur level and there's a professional level. So for professional level, you need to lift minimum 24 kg kettlebell. So if I am lifting snatch with 1 bell, if the weight is 20 kg, now the weights are like this. It starts from 8 kgs, then there's an increment of 4. So 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28 and 32. Now 32 kg kettlebell is lifted by only one person in India, that is Arnav Sarkar. So nobody has lifted 232 kg till date. We Indians are good in 24 kg are very good lifters. So this is a 10-minute event. There are three different sports, 3 different events in the 10-minute event. Online, you can lift, now as I'm going to lift today 20 kgs for continuous 30 minutes. So I'm going to do something known as a single and long cycle. So online also there are a lot of events, but if you are directly, you have a lot of championships, a lot of Indian associations also having their own national championships. So the sport is growing. It is not a very big sport till now. It will eventually, but it is growing gradually, and a lot of people are using it competitively.
Correct. So I think basically it is people who want to kind of have a competitive nature, you want to get into competitive. So this is what the information will tell you. My take rather, personally and professionally as well, it is more, I think the use of kettlebell should be more with athletes and, even with gym goers, using it correctly. Obviously, I'm kind of reiterating the same point over and over again is because, trust me, you can land up with injuries if you don't use it properly, and if you are not trained by somebody who is an expert, you definitely can go wrong. So be professional in your approach. This is an excellent tool to kind of, use it for your performance enhancement, including your other formats of training as well. And I think the more and more use of this kettlebell into the fitness industry will definitely help athletes grow stronger and better. So thank you, Siddharth. Thank you so much for your
just
time.
adding a little bit more before we end. See, now let's serve the core aspect, training the core and all is getting, there's a lot of talk going on about training the core and all that. So kettlebell is a very good tool to train the core. Right. Almost the entire body, including the core. So if somebody, if you are doing something non-competitive, you want to lift it, you lift it, you strengthen your core, you increase your endurance, you increase your explosive strength, and you can go ahead. The posture also needs to improve better because the posterior chain muscles are challenged.
Exactly.
So it has many benefits.
I know we are short of time as well, but we don't want to kind of get into the technical aspects of it. There are too many things to talk about kettlebell, but having said that, some information that is going to help you all to start using it correctly will definitely benefit you. So thank you, Siddharth. Thank you so much, and all the best for all your competitions.
Thank you so much.